Hey everyone, it's Ysadora back again, head witch of Threamregna, and I was asked a question about familiars today because a lot of people know my cat Rocky and know of him being referred to as my familiar, but wanted a bit of an explanation why. So this is my familiar. Oh. Who is a bit struggling right now. He's not very fond of the camera. So this is Rocky. He's actually only one of my familiars. He is the one that I work with most closely and tends to sort of be around a lot and have people see, people tend to see him a lot. And whenever anybody, I'll put him down now, whenever anybody comes through to Threamregna, he is actually the first cat that will greet everybody. And so he checks everyone out and sort of figures out their energy, figures out what they're about, and I can really sort of find out from him whether somebody is good, bad, if their energy is okay to come in. So he is more of my sort of guardian style familiar, and that's actually one of the roles that familiars are supposed to do with witches especially. So cats are especially useful because with cats, they always seem to have greater senses. Dogs have it also to some extent, but I just find I work much better with cats. And, you've always seen the pictures of cats just like staring at absolutely nothing, or for no reason they'll just get nervous or a bit angsty and things like that. And what I can actually use that for is to ascertain what's going on around me and see what's happening and what's up with the energy around me. So that's his main usage. I also have a second familiar who is unfortunately a very aged cat who I will not be lugging up here to actually have a look. And his role is actually really interesting because he actually ascertains all of the products for me. So whenever I get new deliveries or anything like that, he actually sits with me on the bed as I start unpacking everything, and he has to sniff each and every item. So he actually susses out everything that goes on in that way of things. And we joke about him doing his approval process. And it really is actually a bit of a situation of that because he really does sort of go through everything. And so he makes a couple of the decisions for us in that way. So they're my two main familiars I work with. The third cat we have actually here at Threamregna HQ is literally just a house cat. She doesn't really care about much of anything to do with all of this, so she's definitely not interested in being a familiar. So familiars, as I said, can be almost any animal. I work really closely with cats because I find them really easy to understand, but you can almost work with any animal. Obviously not your pet cockroach because that's kind of hard to work with. Familiars are there for, firstly of all, as I discussed, for protection. They're the ones that can sense energies and bits and pieces beforehand, and they're also often the ones that are actually guarding us at night and everything like that. Secondly, they are used to sort of approve things and feel the energy of certain objects and things like that. Another reason you use familiars is because you can actually use them in spell work. The familial energy can quite often come into spell work, and you find them doing bits and pieces that will help you ascertain spells and things. Some people even use their familiars to help them choose, for instance, spell ingredients. And so their animal will come along and sort of figure out what that is. If you work closely enough with your familiar, you can also do various energetic workings between the two of you. But that is something that takes a lot of time, especially as if you're doing energy manipulation with an animal. They have very, very different energy stores to what we do and very, very different reactions to what we do. So that's something that kind of comes after a really long time of working with that animal. I also find them really amazing, especially for instance, after you've done a ritual. Whenever I do all of the spell work for us, even if it's just something as simple as making the black salt, I feel quite drained because doing any kind of magical process in that way is inherently draining because you put a lot of your own energy into it. So I actually find it really nice to afterwards come back with my familiars, just curl up with them, spend some time with them, and recover a lot of that energy and a lot of my own sort of sense of self. So they're really good for almost like the spell aftercare sort of thing. Other than that, there's immensely like amazing other different bits and pieces that different people do with their familiars. Once you start working with an animal, you'll sort of start to find out yourself how different things fall into place. I never actually even planned on having two familiars. I always just had my one cat, which was Rocky that you met. And it just ended up happening that the other cat, also named Rocky, ironically enough, he ended up inspecting everything and works really, really closely with me on that side of the business. And he works actually a lot closer with me on the spell work than younger Rocky does. So yeah, also interestingly enough, I even have my Rocky tattooed on. I am actually working on filling up an entire arm with occult tattoos, and so that's one other part of my familiar magic was actually getting him tattooed on me, so I always have that energy of him around. So you do really form a really strong bond with your familiars, and there's a lot of different things that you can do to really connect with them. Some people will like wear pieces of their like, you know, of their lost fur or of their like claws that they shed if they're a cat. Whiskers. I use whiskers a lot actually, and I have like a little container saved up full of whiskers and like shedded claws and all that sort of thing. So a lot of that is really useful in spell work. So your familiar can not only choose your spell work items, but maybe even actually give you the spell work items. One of the most important things, obviously, is, especially as a witch, is harming nothing. So, for instance, you can't actually harm your familiar in any way to get any of the items that you need to use for your spell work. So everything has to be done in the right way. You can't, like, kill your familiar. I don't know why you would want to, but you can't kill your familiar to get its pelt or to, like, you know, send them through the declawing process to get their claws or anything like that. You can't do anything painful to your familiar. You have to look after them really well. You can't abuse them or anything, because then obviously you're not having that same connection with the animal. So hopefully that clears up a few of the questions about familiars. I'm sure I've probably maybe given you a lot more, unfortunately. And yes, I will talk to you all again soon. Thank you very much. If you have any other questions, feel free to pop them in the comments or contact me on Facebook under 3 Marigna. And also there'll be the website on there too. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later.